Swim.
This is the Big Fish Show. Oh, that wasn't good.
Do-do-do-do-do.
That reminds me. Oh man, that reminds me of. You ever see that Shiggy gif when he's dancing, and it's like it's them making fun of him and like dance, nigga, dance. You never seen? We're gonna have to edit that out. But
No, here's the thing though. We're gonna say it because you'll explain it, but I won't know until I see the image. So when we do this, I'll like cut it so it goes to like the shiki dance. And
that's cute. All right, YouTuber, feel
Yeah.
me? But welcome to Big Fish.
Welcome.
I guess that's
Do-do-do-do-do. I'm Carmen J,
and I'm Maya.
and today we are talking about how Gen Z culture is basically black culture, and y'all are really taking our stuff.
Yeah,
And it's mad annoying.
It is super annoying. It's an interesting perspective because we are Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah.
But also, I guess something to think about as we're talking is just like this classification of generations is really a Western thing. So like, what does that mean internationally for like Gen Z culture to be black culture when they don't really, a lot of countries don't identify generations like we do.
Really? I actually did not know that. I didn't know that was a Western thing.
Yeah, somebody pointed that out to me, and I was like,
so they're all just one generation?
Well, I don't think that it's not one generation at all, but I just don't think that they think of it that way. Like, I think it's like we really are into labels and like classifying things, and it really was created. The names were really created to determine change of thought processes and like the way that our outlooks on life were different as generations got older or younger, however you want to look at it. And I think that other countries are cognizant of that, but I don't think that they label it like Generation Z, like millennial. Like, I don't think it's a thing like that over there. And by over there, I mean everywhere, but where there's no like
over there.
I'm not being specific.
Any place that's not the US.
Any place that's not here. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Yeah, me too. So let's just splash right into it. So we talked about like being Gen Z and black and how like basically our whole generation, non-blacks, blacks alike, all use our vernacular. How that like dynamic, how does that make you feel?
It's interesting because I never noticed it until recently. So that is a good question. I think that
it's a good point.
It's just, I didn't notice it until somebody asked me, who is a Generation Z, or she's younger than me and she's not black, but she's a person of color. And she asked me, she said, does it bother you that I say like sis and like T and like etc.? And at the time, I never thought about it. So I was like, no, I don't think it bothers me. But like looking back on it, it's just like you are coming into spaces using my vernacular and appropriating the way that Black people speak in spaces that I'd probably
wouldn't
get
even
reprimanded for.
Yeah.
Like using that slang in front of clients, or like using that slang in a business meeting. Using that slang with anybody that isn't Black, essentially.
Literally.
Go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say, I think that's the most jarring part is like especially in like the workspace, we would not use that language. So when they use it towards us, it's just like, I don't know what to do, because even if this was a regular situation, I felt comfortable with you, I still wouldn't use that language. But I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's just like being around. It's really something I haven't noticed till recently. And as you can see, I'm still trying to like put my mind around how I handle it, or how I should handle it, or like when it's appropriate to say something to somebody that's using AAVE. And for those who don't know, AAVE stands for African American Vernacular English. And you'll probably hear us say AAVE a lot throughout this episode. So just
I've been saying AV.
Oh. No.
So if you hear me say Av, that's what I mean.
That's what she's referring to. AAV, or AB, as Carmen says. Like, I really haven't noticed it till recently. Like, I've been in a situation where I was around a bunch of white women, and it was me and my friend Jenny, who is black, around a bunch of white women, and a white girl called me sis, and I didn't even notice it. Like, I didn't even notice it. Like, they noticed it and brought it up to her later, but I didn't even notice. Which I don't think it's a good thing. Like, I'm not saying it like, oh yeah, it's
like,
fine.
oh,
Like, yeah, no. I think I'm also just so used to like white people appropriating our language because I've always went to predominantly white institution. Like, I've been going to an all-white school since like I was a teenager, where like 14-year-old white girls were calling me nigga, and I was like, yes, like, you rang.
Yikes. But do you feel like with non-black people using it now and it being so popular, do you feel like there was almost like a wave, like especially with quarantine and everyone looking to TikTok and all these black TikTokers getting famous and all these white TikTokers stealing that and making it their own? Do you feel like it's been amplified this year? Because I feel like when I was in college, no one was talking to me like that. Like,
Right.
at least not to like not yeah, no one was calling me sis in college. No one was calling me hey queen. I mean, they probably would say queen, but it was not like it wasn't like a hey queen. They would literally say like you are a queen, or like as a compliment.
Right.
So do you feel like there's been like a wave during quarantine or even like this year with the vernacular?
So I think that we have noticed an increase of it this year, but I would say that it existed prior to this year, but just differently. Like code switching. Like I don't know if you've experienced it, but like I have seen white people put on their black scent as soon as they started talking to a nigga. Like, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. I'm gonna say her name. I'm gonna say her name because I know she's not gonna mind. I've seen it happen to Lisa. Like, I've seen it. And
when they see Lisa and feel like
thank you. So let me elaborate for the people who don't know.
They see her and feel like they have to put on a vaccine. What?
So for the people who don't know Lisa,
Lisa.
that's a lot of you who don't know Lisa.
Pretty much everyone.
Yeah, pretty much everybody who doesn't know Lisa. How can I articulate this? So in terms of blackness, Lisa is more likely to be accepted by white folks because white folks wouldn't deem Lisa as like ghetto or like too black or a white black girl, like putting that in quotes for the people who are listening can't see me. So it's interesting that they would pick Lisa to do that with that particular person and never me. That person never did that to me. But he would literally see Lisa and like have a regular conversation with white man Pat here, talking regularly. See Lisa, hey girl, how you doing, sis?
And this is why I never left my dorm room unless it was for class or a club.
And I was like it just shocked me. So I think that it existed prior to this year. It just
definitely
differently. I have I can't say that. I have somebody that I work with closely that I was gonna say a coworker. I instead said I have somebody that I work with closely, who does that to me. Like he puts on a black scent, every time he talks to me, and it's not as much now because we're not, we're all working remotely. But yeah, it used to be like sup, but everybody else was hello, how are you? Sup, sup. And I'm just like, hello, how are you doing today? Like,
yeah, I think it's more of like I don't know if they feel like they need to switch for us to feel comfortable, or they want it, or we're cool, so let's put on what we think is cool, so they think it's cool. I don't know what it is, but yes, as of late, it has made me very uncomfortable, and I don't think I put myself in spaces for people to
do that to you.
Do that to me.
Yeah, I would like to think that I don't, but it's just like my whole thing is white people are everywhere, and not even just white people, non-black people, especially depending on your career, you might find yourself often being the only black person in the room.
True.
And somebody somewhere just like might say something that they're not supposed to say. Like, I just feel like that is inevitable. And I feel like some people are going to experience it more than others, but it definitely is going to happen at some point. I don't wish it on nobody because it's awkward.
It's
Right?
awkward. That's what it is. Yeah.
Like, and it's not even, yes, I'm uncomfortable, but it's awkward because you look stupid, right? Like, I get secondhand embarrassment, so I'm embarrassed because you're embarrassing yourself. Like, I'm
Yikes.
like, I am embarrassed because you sound dumb as hell. That's why I'm embarrassed. Like, because you think you're doing something for me, and you
Right.
really,
Like you really feel like you're creating this space where like, but no, like it's yeah. It's
oh
gotten to the point where I like don't try, I try not to even I speak properly. I put that in quotes because it is
right,
properly, but I
right,
speak properly like with my friends. Like I don't call them I do not call them sis. I do not say
right.
hey queen. And I feel like I haven't even said that. I've never really said that before, but like now I purposely would not be like tea. Like I don't know. I
Period.
just don't period.
My whole and I agree with you because I noticed that I do the same thing, and I don't think that I purposefully don't speak quote unquote proper. And again, like Carmen said, what the hell is proper? That's just white people policing the way we talk and our grammar usage, whatever. But I purposely don't because that's just not how I talk. I like, it's different if I'm like in a client meeting. Like, obviously I'm going to be as quote unquote professional as possible. But in other settings, I try not to police what I say because I feel like that gives non-black folks and white folks more power about like our vernacular. However, I do find myself not wanting to ever say nigga around non-black people, and that includes
Yeah.
white people, because in my head it gives them some unwritten permission to say it back to me, and I don't want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a conversation I don't want to have, and it sucks because it's like, I'm not saying like, why can't I say nigga all the time? Like, I don't, that's not what I mean when I say it sucks. Like, like, I just want to say it so bad. I'm gonna combust. Like, no, like, it just
I'm
sucks that
weak.
you have to like police yourself
Protect your
around.
not even police yourself, but like protect yourself because you're not trying to blur any lines. Like
Right,
you know what I mean? And some things have to clearly some things of ours have to be protected because
right,
they feel like it's free for all.
right.
So I
Before
think
we
it's okay.
get like deep into the conversation, because I feel like we jumped head first. We just had examples. Before we get deeper into the conversation, I kind of want us to like define the parts of Gen Z culture that we know or think is black culture, because I feel like Gen Z culture is like, first of all, culture in general is just so big. That includes like
Yeah.
traditions, that includes languages, that includes like unspoken social norms. Like, culture is just so broad. I want to like specifically label, like call out things that we know is black culture within Gen Z quote unquote culture. Like, does Gen Z even have fucking culture? Because I would argue that it's not Gen Z culture, it's just black culture. Like, your generation is
No,
just taking black culture.
no, literally.
um so I sort of like kind of want to define that a little bit more. So
Mm-hmm.
like, one thing that I will never get over, and I stayed off of this app because of this, is like white TikTokers going viral based off of like black creator shit. So that
Yes.
includes like the sounds. Like, I don't just mean the dances that like they're performing, but like obviously the dances that they're performing, like the sounds that they're reusing, like the weird trends that go viral that have nothing to do with dancing that go viral on TikTok. Like, all of that, that was the main reason why I never used the app. I started recently, and it's really addicting, and I'm really upset that I'm like really into this app. But that was like the main reason why I wasn't on it. And
Yeah.
also like the complaints about the algorithm.
Also true. Also, yes, so true. Still true to this day. Like the algorithm did not change.
Right. But
Um, but
but
you
I
said it.
never,
Like I agree with everything you said as far as like what exactly is Gen Z taking from us, and it's everything. It's. I mean, and I feel like I'm using Gen Z, but when I say Gen Z, I mean the Gen Z people who are not black,
right.
and it is the dances, it is the language, it's
Right.
the sound bites that have been, the
Mm-hmm.
chow, who chow, chile that
Mm-hmm.
they just changed it into, like it's pretty much everything. I can't name one thing that's Gen Z that's not tied back to Black culture.
Right.
Maybe
Vernacular.
the no with the heart, but I feel like if you were to really do some digging, it probably has something to do with
I feel like if you go back far enough.
if you really do use your Googles, it has something to do with us.
So how do you feel about digital blackface?
Could you explain that a little like people using like
Yes. So that's good. I'll explain it. Because I'm sure there's somebody who might not know what it is. So digital blackface has been defined as like using black people as memes, like the memes that you're posting, the gifs that you're posting when you yourself are not black. So like using
oh
a black person's gif to describe your emotions, like how you would use any gif or how you use any meme, like to describe your emotions, and you're not a black person. And I don't think that that's specific to Gen Z, but it is very popular now.
yes.
And I don't think that it's specific to Gen Z, but it's an interesting topic to discuss.
Oh wow. Again, I live on Black Twitter. So I cannot tell you a time I've seen a white person use.
Would you say something if you saw it? What would you think if you saw it? And would you say something?
Honestly, the way I be scrolling on Twitter, I probably would have just scrolled past it. Like, I don't think
Mm,
it would have made me stop in my tracks unless it was someone that I like, unless I saw the username and was just highly confused by it. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, like I just posted a GIF when we are talking about like how I would shoot behind Kenny, LOL.
Right.
But I posted like one of them black
Oh,
people holding up a gun. But if I would have saw if I would have
I
saw a
love
white person
that
do
gift.
that, that probably would have threw me off.
Oh God.
Um,
Honestly.
but I don't know if I don't know if I'd be like, take it down. I
Right.
think it would throw me off though.
Right. That is so interesting. I don't know if I would say something. Like I don't know if I think it would take me a minute to
To process.
realize and process what they're doing is like wrong. And why is it wrong? Like you're using like what people typically do is like when they want to convey an attitude, they're using black women because they're sassy, and it just perpetuates
Mm,
these like stereotypes about us.
that's deep.
um yeah, and it would take me a minute to get there. That's my point. Like it would
Yeah.
take me a minute to like have that process and be like wrong. Like
Yeah.
let's do that. So like I don't know if off the rip I would say anything either. Like
Exactly.
it would take me a minute. But that's something that has been talked about with this culture. I don't know if it's like originated in this culture, like Gen Z culture. When I say this culture, I mean Gen Z, but it has been talked about. And then another thing is like taking black folks' aesthetics, specifically folks like Billie Eilish.
Mm,
And Gen Z loves Billie Eilish
they really do.
to this day.
I when it comes to Billy, like I cannot tell you a song. Like what you seen that on TikTok where they be like sing Nick Cannon or I'ma shoot you and like pick up and kill it and kill it like
That'll count. That'll count.
That's how I am with Billy. I'm just like
I've listened to
green
her
hair.
music, and I don't want to I don't want to make it seem like we hating on Billie Eilish, but I just that ass don't know who she is. I listened to a few songs, because somebody who's a non-black Gen Zer asked me, like, was like, "Oh my God, you don't know who that is? Like, let's listen to this. This is her most popular song." I don't get the hype.
I heard
I
she was a
don't,
cheerleader and that was like, oh, like she was a competitive cheerleader. Saw that on Twitter.
and that's what caught your eye, Carmen.
Yeah, because I used to be like, oh, that's cute. On brand, I feel like that was cute. That's
I
all, like when it comes to Billie, all I know is that she said she don't like how black people be using hip
mhm.
hop, even though she basically appropriates everything that is.
Her whole aesthetic is hip hop. The
Yes,
baggy clothing, like the long nails, like
yes,
the colors that she uses, like that is all black people.
and I feel
And like, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say like I feel like when it comes to aesthetics, um, it's up for interpretation because she has this
Mm,
like gothic thing going on too. So okay, mix and play around. But I think when
right.
she crossed the line when she tried to critique,
Mm-hmm.
and what you really should be doing is saying thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be saying like they are the like everything that I'm doing is rooted in this and I appreciate the culture for this, and to see some like action behind that would be nice. And I
Right.
think like I said, like it's like take what you need to take, like take not take, but like if you're gonna create a vibe and an aesthetic, like cite us,
Right.
add us. I don't know.
Absolutely. And like the whole thing about that is like, I don't gotta tell you, and I probably don't have to tell the people that are listening either, but if I was to dress like that, I'd get reprimanded.
Yeah,
Like, and we've seen black men dress like that and get reprimanded. Like, I don't know if you remember, but like, do you remember around when Allen Iverson was really popping and they banned wearing baggy clothes and do rags, and they had then that's when they like made that whole
wear
everybody
the
has to wear
suits.
suits.
Yep.
Like
I remember.
grown ass men,
We're being told
billionaires,
what to wear. Yes, that's annoying.
or
That's
being
more
told
than
not to
annoying.
wear what
That's
you're like
yeah.
wearing.
That's on
Like,
some slave stuff mentality right there.
so that whole like in the critiquing the culture that you are profiting off of gets on my nerves. We talked about this in a past episode, but like
Yeah.
Post Malone did it, Miley Cyrus did it after her like Mike Will Made It album, and I'm just like,
What's the people? I'm gonna pump up some tags.
oh, Macklemore, only got
They did
$20
it.
in my pocket. I like that.
They did it.
Did they?
Eminem. They're gonna come for me.
All right, all right, all
They
right.
all
You
did.
name it. You name it to me about like. I changed subject.
Till literally like 106 in Park age, I thought Robin Thicke was black. Like until I like saw him on 106 in Park one day and he was
Oh,
singing a
absolutely.
song. I was like, who is this white man and why is he singing this black man song? Like,
I thought Robin Thicke was black. I thought Sam Smith was black. But like now it's like, how could you think he was black? But like just the soul
it's
in
the
his
soul.
music, I was like, this is a white man.
A white man. Yes.
And I did not know the Bee Gees were white either.
Wait,
Carmen.
this is news. The ha 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 staying alive. They're white.
Carmen, they are white Australians. Like,
They're Australian?
I'm pretty sure. I could have made that last part up, but they are white.
They're white.
That is for sure. They are white.
This is
like,
wow. This is
they
news
are your shirt,
to
your
me.
Beats cord, like my wall. They are white.
How did they make that song?
How do they do what they do?
Wow.
While
this
being
is
white.
news to me. This is news to me, y'all.
Wow. Not Carmen just finding breaking
I was
news.
today years old.
Carmen said,
People gonna drag me for this, but I really, I
Carmen,
really
we all know. Yes. She said, you know. Yes.
y'all know.
Yes, they are white men. But my point is, like, it irks my soul when white people have the nerve to critique reasons why they are here. And that's not to say that you can't critique systems that need critiquing, because like hip hop, there are a lot of things that are wrong with hip hop, but y'all shouldn't be the ones critiquing it.
But also, black people have been critiquing it. Black women have been critiquing it. Like, just serve as the echo and not the voice. Like it's not your place. Like, it's not your place.
Like, and like really know the positionality of how you look as a white person critiquing black culture, one, and then critiquing black culture that you're utilizing
Yes.
to make money, and
I
you
think
make
we
a
talked
lot
about
of
this.
money.
We talked about this in another episode. I think I was on something and someone was like, "Yeah, FJ Cole after he was
Yep, we talked about that in another episode. Yep, after the no name thing.
yeah," and I was like,
Oh, you thought you meant something. You thought your opinion mattered.
I was like, can you say that?
Yeah, yeah. Can you?
Can you say that?
Like, it almost. I heard nigga.
Like when. Because in my Negro club, we didn't that wasn't something that was a hard judgment. We haven't discussed that yet in my Twitter realm.
And here you go, hopping in. We're not even gonna get into that right now, but that. Oh, and another person. We're kind of going down a rabbit hole of naming white people that take black culture, but this is good. This is good. I didn't know why people hated Iggy Azalea till today.
Till today?
I mean, by today I mean like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, what'd she do?
It's the whole like
the obvious.
the whole like she's white and did the black scent thing. I thought that's how Australians talked, because I've never been to Australia, so I was just like,
I thought that's how she talked too. We're laughing right now because just like at this point, it's like
not us thinking that's the authentic Australian
no.
accent.
I really thought that was like really thought that was it. She was being true to this, not new to this.
Oh God, please. No, it's not. And then that one do you remember that one freestyle where she wasn't really saying words and she was like,
Yes.
well, I guess the whole I'm your master, runaway slave thing rubbed people the wrong way.
She said that?
Yeah, something like that. But the main reason I'm bringing her up is the black scent thing. And I'm so not immune to it, but I'm so used to it. Yeah. Like I can't even tell, but it's just like okay.
But I think what frustrates me is like when it's time to pull up, they don't pull up. And I think I had a moment on Instagram where I was just like, really, I just unfollowed all the white people who really just haven't showed up, and
right.
I unfollowed at least like 50 people,
right?
Because I was just like, at some point I'm being complacent and your complacency. So
right.
I made a post where I was just like, y'all are so cool with doing our dances, singing our songs, but when it actually comes time to pull up or when it actually comes time to like change lives, y'all really just want us to keep shucking and jiving for y'all.
Right.
Like, and that is what really just grinds my gears. Like,
so that was going to be one of my questions. Like, how do you handle how do you handle people that are like for black culture but not for black people? And like, what does that look like? I don't know if I've had to have those conversations yet. And that's not to say because folks aren't engaging in black culture around me. It's just like, I'm tired.
yes.
I don't like if I'd have to talk about folks stealing black culture and not uplifting black people, I'm critiquing damn near everybody.
Yes.
Like
and like you said, it gets exhausting. Like we're actually fighting for our lives. Like we're actually surviving for our lives. So for us to go tit for tat for why you shouldn't be
saying period,
reinventing the woe every 5 seconds, it's a little tedious. It's just some things y'all should know.
Yikes. So what if, and I'm not trying to put this person on blast. I'm not going to say who they are, but I know that they're going to know that I'm talking about them, and I'm not trying to put them on blast. Like I'm asking a genuine question.
Am I
Is it, I don't know, you might. Is it acceptable for folks to make up alterations of AAVE to you?
Like the Chile?
Yes, but purposely make alterations. So being like, I don't want to appropriate AAVE. So instead of saying child, I'm purposely going to say Chile.
Chile.
Is that appropriate? Because somebody has done that to me.
No, it's just not. Just don't use it. Like, just don't. Like, we're not about to teach you how to. No, just do not use it. And I also think like our language is. It's our language. So there was a trend on TikTok where these white girls would translate like New York black slang, because we all know that like there's overall black, but there's different, different.
Yeah. Different cities have different words for different things.
So she was literally like decoding, translating like New York slang for white people. And like when I see stuff like that, not only do I think that's like dangerous, and I only say dangerous because like we clearly have to use our own language so that way we could like communicate with each other without you all knowing. Like there's a reason why we talk the way we talk.
Right.
Like it's not because we're ignorant.
Right.
None of that. Like there is culture behind it. Like I feel like people should take like African American vernacular as a language. Like it is. And it's not something for you to take. It's not something for you. It's not really a class you can take. It's something that you're born into, something that you've been brought up and like raised in.
Right.
So I don't think, one, you shouldn't use it, and two, you cannot change it. Like that's not how that works. That's literally not how that works.
I have somebody doing that. I have somebody that does that, and I don't know if that's a battle worth fighting, or not. But it feels like that's not how that's supposed to work. Like if I'm telling you, like if I'm like, don't say nigga, you don't, I'm gonna say nigger then. Like you can't just switch.
Or nizzle. No.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Or ninja. Do you remember that? Do you remember ninja? What's up, my ninja?
No.
The
I
people
remember.
never did that.
I remember that, but
Oh,
yeah, it was just
oh
no.
my
Like
god.
the answer is no, and it's not with the heart. The answer is no with
No,
the
with a
fist.
period. No, with a fist.
Y'all know that little fist look? That's what it is.
Oh god, the answer is no with a fist. Dang, now I gotta go tell him to stop saying that, huh?
So I do the Chile, but that's something I do amongst my friends because we're making fun of y'all. Or I'll say
Oh
ninja,
yeah,
but it's
that's
only to my
different.
friends. Like it's not acceptable, y'all.
Right.
It's not acceptable.
And that's different. Like us making black people making fun of white people is different than white people making fun of black people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just how
It's not the same.
yeah, it's not it's not the same. And I'm so sorry that's I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that this is how it is. But that's literally
That's how it is.
it is just the unwritten rules of society. Like that's just how it works. Y'all shouldn't have enslaved people and it might have been different. I don't know. But like that's just how it is. And also like we're not even gonna get into who's racist and why they're, racist and all that shit. Like if black people are actually racist, whatever. But I say that to say, I forgot my train of thought. Oh yeah, that it's just not acceptable for them to alter AAVE so it's acceptable for them to use it. Like just stop. Like
Was it in Malibu when he was like, just be yourself, just be you. Is me.
That's another thing that I've noticed. Speaking of a different form of not me getting comfortable. No, that's another thing that I've noticed. Like not just like specific AAVE vocab, but like AAVE also has its own grammar. So I've been around people that have like purposely, I'm putting that in question marks, used improper grammar.
Oh, because you don't know if it was on purpose or not?
Yeah, I don't know. But they'd be like, I be chilling, but they're not black. And that's like, that is AAVE. Like that is AAVE.
That is, yeah. Because in school, when we wrote that as children, best believe we got points off.
Yeah, so like I've had people really be like,
did.
I be or I is or like, and I'm just like, yes.
All of it makes us uncomfortable. I just want to put that up. If y'all needed a takeaway from this, it makes us uncomfortable and just stop. Just talk the way you talk. Like, stop it.
But what's interesting to me is like I'm not even going to get into it because I feel like folks are going to then know who the hell I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about anybody specific, I promise.
No, because so many people do this.
Because so many people do it.
Really not. Yeah.
Like this is not shots at, please no, this is not shots at anybody. Like
but
so many people do it, but if the shoe fits. But I feel like we also have to call out or like do a caveat on the fact of like a lot of these words that we're talking about actually come from queer communities also. Yes. So it is that intersectionality of like queer communities of color can use it, but can non-black queer folks use it? Could non-black folks use it? Like it is that caveat also. So I think that's important to keep in mind when we're talking about like the guidelines of who can say certain things, the caveat of who made, because there are a lot of like queer vernacular that black cis hetero women use, black women use, even though it's AAVE and they're homophobic. So like a lot of homophobic cis het women saying like cis T, like all of that is queer vernacular.
Yeah.
So that also goes out to y'all, like doing the research, understanding what the hell is happening, and where these words are coming from. And it all like it's also kind of strange that we are quick to use words that we don't even know what they mean.
Meaning it. Yes, that's my thing. So many people are quick to use these words without Googles.
Yeah, like
I remember that should really bother people.
Yeah,
like you shouldn't just be same with people who like to magical fingers in the you know, people who like to like
times.
Yes, people who just like to do it because it's cool.
Yeah,
You will die behind that in places. Do you
I didn't
understand?
know what Carmen was doing,
You
y'all.
know the sign language and
Yeah,
stuff.
stop. She said the magical fingers.
Because they be really
They
going
be going
off
off. I'm like, I know you threw up a set in there, like by accident,
somewhere.
like somewhere. But it's just so interesting because, like, I have, but another thing about not knowing the words, but also understanding what they mean in different contexts. Because I remember I had a couple of friends using the word sus in professional settings, and I was like, I want you to know that like sus in certain communities and certain black communities is like a homophobic term, because it's like you are sus, like there's some inkling that you might be gay, which is
Oh,
homophobic. Like
right,
that's not okay to say. Because like the black men have said that, like you're sus,
right.
and meant it in that way.
Yes,
So like understanding the different contexts of words in those different like contexts. Said
it's
context twice.
important. No, but
But it's important, and y'all just be saying words that you don't know what they mean. It's wild to me. Like it's absolutely insane to me.
we have to do an infographic of the
Oh, we should. We need a big
of
fish
like
infographic.
vocabulary. What the actual meaning.
Yeah, like it just we have to. But one thing that I want to know, maybe there is no difference. Like I struggle with this. Is there a difference between appropriation and appreciation? And if so, what does that look like?
You can appreciate me,
She sighed.
but you can appreciate me by really like pulling up, like,
Mm,
and I think I've seen a lot of people who are showing that appreciation this year, like with really people being on the front lines.
right.
Like if you want to show your appreciation, I need you to put your body at risk or
Mm,
put your money where your mouth
mm,
is. I need that action. I need you to be about that action.
mm,
um and I think it's good to support our culture, and I think it's honorable and noble, but we don't need you to help. We don't need you for us to create.
right.
If you want to pour into us financially, spiritually, yes, but as far as like defining the line, I think the line is so blurred that
Mm,
like just let it alone. Let us do what we need to do. Let us create. Give us that space. Give us our credit. Like
right.
if you wanna do a commercial, you wanna give the originators their credit. Stop trying to repurpose it into something it's not.
Right.
Like that's what you can do. You can put us in spaces that we normally once were not allowed into, and let us do what we do. And
Mm,
if you want to appreciate us, sacrifice. That means your body. That means your wallet. That means
mm,
it means whatever that means to you as far as, you know, being about that action.
right.
What about you?
I think uh, I almost want to say there is no. I want to say that appreciation has nothing to do with appropriation at all. Like in terms of you appreciating us is simply saying, "Wow, that was amazing."
Yes.
Like you don't have to engage with everything that we're doing. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you don't have to ask, "How can I appropriate your dance moves in a way that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable?" Like
Right. You shouldn't even be right.
let's just not do it. Let's just let it, let's leave it alone. Like let's just let it go. Like you appreciating it is liking it,
Yes.
liking the video, sharing it,
Yes.
bookmark it, comment, follow. Like you don't have to engage in it, like in the culture, to appreciate it. So I feel like this question is like not redundant, but it's just like it's possible. Like it doesn't have to be. It shouldn't even be a conversation. Like
Right.
just how do you appreciate anything else? How do you appreciate like people that celebrate different holidays? Like, are you suddenly gonna like celebrate Hanukkah because you appreciate the Jewish community? Like, okay, like it's just it's almost common sense to me. Like the fact that we have to do an episode about this is, I mean, we don't have to do anything, but the fact that like we can dedicate an
And
hour
yes.
to talking about this is like kind of wild to me. Just don't do it.
Just don't.
I would never forget. Oh, story time. I would never forget when the it's the for me. came out. Remember that phrase?
Yes.
Let me tell y'all ran that to the mother ground. Like, ran it to the ground.
Yes, child.
Like, and I would never. Do you remember that TikTok too?
No, yes,
With the white couple? He was like,
yes.
it's the big old booty for me.
And the thing is, when I saw it come across my timeline, I thought they were being satirical.
Oh, no.
I thought they were. So I scrolled past it thinking, like, oh, are they trying to make fun of it? Then I kept seeing it pop up on more timelines, and I'm like, yo, this for
No.
real. Like, they're being for real. Like,
Yeah.
they really are just trying to get in on the quote unquote trend.
Yeah. So, y'all, I don't have to explain to y'all that it's the blank for me was a viral phrase for a moment. Some people still use it. I just can't, like, it's just whitewashed in my head, so I just can't. But there was this couple, it's a TikTok couple, and they make all TikTok, like, they make all couple content, and they were doing it's the blank for me challenge, and their black scents are so bad. Like, the video is so cringe. Like, it is so cringe. And I guess he's like interpreting how he thinks we sound. So he's like, it's the booty for me. And she's like, it's the he told me I never have to work a day in my life for me. And he in the back like, come on now. Like, it's so cringe. And the funny thing about it is I brought that up and told people that that's what y'all sound like when y'all use it. Like, I sent them the video. It was like, this is what you sound like.
And they gasped, didn't they?
They didn't, it was they didn't gasp. It was me a text. I can't believe this. No, they didn't gasp. They were just like, yeah, not the gumdrop buttons. They were just like, wow, thank you for sharing this. I hate when white people hit me with that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I hate when white people say that to me. Wow, thank you so much for sharing this. And then move on to the next topic.
Thank you, Queen.
Yeah. Thanks, sis. Period. Like, I hate that. Don't thank my wallet. I would never. I had a rough day one day, and I had to like talk about a whole bunch of racist shit. And that shit's exhausting for black people. Yeah, I don't have to explain to y'all how exhausting it is. And somebody paid me. They Venmoed me. It wasn't even a lie. It was like $10. They were like, for the day you had.
Thank you.
That's appreciation.
That's appreciation.
Like,
that's appreciation.
That's appreciation, because sharing resources and like explaining that shit, that shit's work. Like, even doing this is work. It's just not fun. It's not a fun episode.
This was not. We were laughing, but it's.
Like, I got a headache. Like,
Same.
I'm about to drink wine after this. It's 2:00 on a Tuesday. This shit wasn't a fun topic to talk about.
You
Like,
stay outing us in these naming the day and time.
I got a half day today. I'm off work.
Okay, for you, for you. She over here outing us. Oh,
she said on December 28th, 1:22:45 seconds. Carmen J. Carroll.
I'm weak.
I am so sorry. We're at work. It's Saturday, 3:00.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't think that there's a. I don't think that. Not that I don't think that there's a difference between appreciation and appropriation. I just don't. Why am I trying to figure out cool ways that you can appropriate stuff?
Yeah,
like an acceptable ways for you to appropriate stuff. That's like, oh, you remember Adele
with the
Bantu
she
knots?
went to the was it Jamaica? Was she in Jamaica?
I don't even. I think she was in the UK.
She was at a carnival.
Yeah, she was at the UK carnival. And I just felt like, and we've talked about this before, but it's appropriate for this episode. I'm not going to get into the same story I told before, which was like arguing with somebody on whether it was appropriation or not. Why are you trying to be, you know how people say abuse sympathizers? Why are you trying to be an appropriation sympathizer? Like, why are you trying to figure out ways that it isn't appropriating?
Yes.
If I am telling you that it is.
Yes.
Like, stuff like that is stuff like that is weird. Like, are you sure? Because
I did that and I don't think I was appropriating.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
What is happening? So I have a question. if you were to see folks using AAVE in the workplace, do you say something? And if so, who do you say something to?
One, I don't, and I think I've built like a personal boundary where I just try to speak the most perfect English. So when they do it to me, it makes them feel uncomfortable because I'm always just like, what, hit them with the,
Huh.
and so, and I don't even think I report it because, like, I should, but I haven't because I'm
Right.
still finding my way and finding my voice and setting my boundaries, etc., etc. But I think I protect myself by like doing what you do, like when they're like, "Thanks, Queen," I just hit them with the, "You're welcome, thanks,
Sure.
sir." By your name.
Like, no, that's
or
fair.
I'll subtweet. Okay. Which is probably not healthy.
Who says who?
I remember when I was in college, I lied. Let me backtrack. Someone did call me sis, and I tweeted in college like, I tweeted something to the effect like, if you call me sis, it's like either it's fighting words or it's like highly offensive. It was something funny. It was more wittier than what I'm trying to think of right now. But like, sis is like abusive. Oh, that's what it was. Sis is like abusive language. So do not say it to me. So I'll just subtweet, which is probably, like I said, not the most
I
progressive.
don't think. I'm trying to think. Do I say have I said anything? I have. Not at work. I've said it to folks who I work with after work. Like, all right, let's not do this anymore.
And
Like,
it's awkward. It's awkward too, like correcting people. It's awkward.
it is awkward. And the reason it's been awkward for me is because a lot of the time they genuinely don't know what they're saying. Like when I break
That's half the
down
battle.
and that's also why you shouldn't be using it. Like that's the part that be making me mad. Like
that's half the battle. They don't even know.
They like for me, a lot of the times that I have explained what something means, like if I'm like, don't say that because it means X, Y, and Z, like, oh, or because it came from X community. Oh, I didn't know that.
So you just picked up some stuff and ran with it.
Yeah, yes. That's the part that be irking me. Like you just picked up something and like did a quick urban dictionary will tell you what it means. Like that's the wild part. Like this is not the 70s. Like you can literally find out what that means.
What it means, yeah.
Before you start running with it. Like that has been the most irritating part for me. Like you're saying stuff and I think it's irritating for me because I'm in such like a professional setting where like I can't use those words. Like I just can't. And like
because it's inappropriate. Like it's not this, there's a time and a place.
Well, for me, it's not even that it's inappropriate. It's just like because it's also like why is it inappropriate? Because of professionalism and like, we already know what professionalism is, just, standards created by white people and whiteness. But it's only viewed inappropriate when we use it. Like that's the part that's irritating. Right. Like but when
like, also there's like a time and a place. Like I guess it does stem, but like with code switching, like the way everybody I talk to my family or my cousins, I'm not going to talk that way with my coworker. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by inappropriate. Like there's a time and a place and settings for this language.
Right.
And y'all and maybe that is stemmed in like, whiteness. Why can't it be fluid? But just knowing who I'm surrounded by in the workplace versus who I'm surrounded by when I'm at home, like it's just different languages.
Yeah. Or the fact that we're code switching in opposite ways is like telling. Like I have to code switch from this colloquial thing to something really, really formal. But when you're coming up to me in formal settings, you're switching to what I just switched from.
Right.
Like that's privilege in itself.
Yes.
Okay. Like I don't even have words. That's all I have. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I don't even know how to describe this, but you know what bothers me, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
When non-Black people make it their business to point out that they know what type of hairstyle that you have instead of just being like, I like your hair. They'd be like, I love your new weave.
Do not.
Why she sit up from the chair like that?
Because I'm trying to.
Has
No,
that never happened to you?
if it has, I've really blocked it out of my mind because mind your business. Like if I wanted everybody to know it's a weave, I would have
announced it
on my t-shirt.
No, Carmen, that happens
If it
to me so many times. That happened to me at school, at college. A teacher, I like your new wig.
no,
Okay. Like
I really do be blocking my energies.
I'm so shocked that you don't even recall something like that happened to you. That happens to me way often than I would like it to happen. Like, why can't you just say I like your hair?
Yeah.
Because it is mine.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
wouldn't do that to anybody else. Like, I like your new recently touched up roots to Becky. Like, why would you? Nope. I just
I
like
like your
your
clip-ins.
Yeah, like what? Like that just
No.
yeah, I'm
Oh
surprised.
my gosh. If you're listening to this
Oh my gosh.
and you feel like you need to describe what kind of hairstyle I have, just no.
Just
Like
don't. Like
I'm
I like your braids
sorry.
would suffice. Like I
Yeah,
like your braids.
right.
Like
If it's
locks.
curled, I like your curls. You know,
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah,
I like your
yeah.
Bantu knots. But do not
Point out what isn't mine on my face or my body.
Right.
I like your BBL.
Like, yeah. Susan, I love your nose job.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Carmen, I'm so shocked that you cannot think of an example of when that's happened to you. That reminds me of
That makes me uncomfortable that that's happened
we
to you.
probably told this story, but that reminds me of when that teacher was in there touching what's her face's hair in front of the entire class.
Dramatic. This happened to us in school, y'all. Teacher really, the professor, not even a teacher, like we're in high school. This is someone who's like, well, teachers are educated, but this is someone in a professional college setting.
Teaching an African American studies course.
Boy.
Mind you not.
Boy.
Has said nigga in class.
For educational purposes in front of an entire black class almost.
Mind you,
like
let's break this all the way down. Let's break this all the way down to like sign up for the class time because I think it's important to give context. We talked about how we have went to a PWI, predominantly white institution for undergrad. There were about 50 folks who identified as African American. That is not a lot.
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, like literally 50
like
to 60 out of 1,200.
Yes.
So when Carmen says in front of all the black students, we actually all coordinated to take this class together. Like that's how few black kids there were. Like this man actually was shopping around his class. He was like, hey, I'm offering this course next semester. Like, would love if you guys signed up, like just handing out cards about it. And we were like, what? Hell yeah, we all worked it out to take this
to all be in this class.
So when Carmen says all the black kids was in this class, she's not exaggerating. Like probably a half to like a third of the black community at
the school was in this classroom.
So he is in front of the whole black class saying nigga, touching
our hair.
Like and not only did he touched it, but he miscategorized what type of style it was. He lifted it up. He literally went, oh, y'all can see me now. He literally held it up like this and said, I like your corn braids.
Oh boy. Trauma. You heard the record scratch. It said and we all looked back at who he was touching and all of our eyes were just like, are you okay? Like,
and the important thing to note about this is like, I would never forget. I actually missed a part of that conversation, but I turned and looked back and my friend who's white, his face was as red as my fingernail. Like, I was like, oh, let me start paying attention to what just happened. Because if the white man is uncomfortable, I know some shit just went down.
And that was just one instance. There's so many. Like that just its own Netflix show. That entire class.
That entire class was wild. He tried to tell us that all people were the same. He tried to give us that.
the human race
Yeah,
thing.
like we're all one human race. I was like, how are you teaching an African American course? Telling us we're all right.
And he marched with King, and that's also why he can say nigga.
He's giving me really Bernie. He's giving me Bernie.
It was giving Bernie back then.
Yeah, because like Bernie, like he's aware that racism exists, but he's only willing to talk about it to a certain extent.
Yes.
And he's giving real
He
Bernie.
was, and he kind of like looked like him a little bit.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here and Bernie Sanders taught my African American religious experience class.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
and I'm proud to say that. I think I don't know. Am I?
Mhm.
We'll talk about it later.
We survived.
Yeah, we survived. Wow, we really just switched from like Gen Z culture to all non-black people ever. I'm
It's
not
all,
even.
but if you talk about like as Black Gen Z women, this is our life. Like this
Yeah.
is our experience.
Yeah, yeah, and just because we wanted to critique our generation doesn't mean it has to stem from somewhere, right?
Something.
Like
Y'all
it has
parents
to stem
started
from
it.
something. And that man was like 70, so I know he passed down something to somebody. He been here for a minute. That's crazy. So you kind of touched on this already, but to sort of wrap up the episode, and I don't even know what my answer on this is, but are there ways to hold people accountable about this type of stuff? Because I feel like out of all the things that Black people are going through, this is the last thing that they would want to focus on. Every Black person is different, obviously, but like out of all the things that we encounter on our day to day, is this a topic that's worth spending our time on?
I
One,
think
and if so, how do we hold people accountable for all of this stuff?
I think you said it best in like a clubhouse meeting where it's really about like you have to correct behavior before behavior starts. Like you have to set ground rules and boundaries in safe spaces before anything begins, anything pops off. And I
Right.
think that's the biggest takeaway that I have taken from all of this is that like even when you start a new job in the interview process, like we talked about in the last episode about like what does diversity look like in the office? What type of, like those are things that should be said before day one or during week one.
Right.
Your non-negotiables or even things that make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's how accountability can start because you can say like, this was something that this is not something that I'm out of the blue, don't call me sis or whatever.
Right.
These are things that can be set. But my point is this is stuff that can be set in advance. So when it comes time to hold people accountable, they have a track record of you setting that boundary.
Right. No.
Or
That's
creating
fair.
a safe word. I don't know, say like big fish. And that means that you probably said something.
Okay, shameless plug. Big
I don't
fish.
know. Exactly. And then they know, like, I don't know. But my point is like you gotta nip that in the bud, as my mom would say.
Right.
When they three, gotta nip that in the bud.
For me, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. That has been a topic. That has been a battle I have been willing to lose because I just don't say nothing anymore. Unless you're saying nigga, I usually don't say nothing.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not bothering you. It's just
Yeah, no, that is not. It bothers me. My skin crawls every time. Every time.
It's not a time that it does not. It's not a time that you don't recognize that it's happening.
Why are you so close to the camera? Time. Because I really want y'all to, like, just because a Black person isn't saying anything doesn't mean that what you're doing is okay, especially when you know that you're doing it. Because, like, there's a lot of people that know what they're doing.
Yes.
And just because a Black person does not say anything does not mean it is not bothering them. There are a lot of things that I do not, like, not reprimand because that sounds like I'm somebody's parent, but like hold people accountable for. Just because like I'm tired and you don't know who the hell I had to talk to prior to this day. And outside of like stuff like this, just everyday life, like I'm just not always in the mood to be holding people accountable for shit that they shouldn't be doing. Like,
right.
So I might have been having a great day and I just don't want to go there. But I don't. Like, out of all in the grand scheme of things, this is like the least important to me
Yeah,
to
we're
like
over here trying to survive a pandemic
yeah
that's killing us more than any other race, and also
yeah
just pure racism.
yeah like there's just so like
It's just so much on our
there's
plate
so
than
much
to
on our
correct you.
plate, and like Gen Z not fucking with black people the way they should, but still in our culture is like, it's bothersome. It is. I would be lying if I said it isn't. That's why we're doing an episode on it. Like it bothers me enough to want to talk about it, but to nip it in the bud every single time I see it, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I think when I say nip it in the bud, that means before it starts, it should be over.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah,
if you have to multiple times nip it in the bud, that's an issue.
yeah, yeah. But
But
I
yeah,
will say, are there any folks that like this? I don't know if this is going to be controversial, but like for me, it also depends. Like when we had the conversation prior about like who created these words and what queer communities created these words, that also informs me of who I'm holding accountable. Like my queer friends, I don't police their usage of AAVE because a lot of AAVE is also queer vernacular. Um,
what
so like
about
I
like
don't.
black queer vernacular? Because I feel like isn't it stemming from black queer vernacular?
Yeah, that's also a thing, but it's also like I think it gets sticky when like I'm policing other queer folks who are probably more embedded in queer culture than I am. Like
No, that
when you
makes
think
sense.
like when you think about like the AAVE that we're discussing, a lot of the queer black vernacular that Carmen's talking about came from house culture, like ball culture. And there are folks who are way more embedded in that culture than I am for me to
Right.
be like, no, 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 but you're not black though.
Right.
like, like I just like so for
So you
me,
okay?
I'm just like really strict on folks who are even then like I don't even know if I can put a
But I
like
feel
define
like
line on that
yeah,
because it really varies by person also like
yeah.
because like there's just certain people that I know who are queer, not black, and not a part of the culture at all. Does that give me the right to police them? Like, I don't want to use the word police. I hate police. Stop saying that. Does that give me the right to question,
Correct.
yeah, and correct their usage of these words? I can't believe I just said police like 3 times. You need to bleep this out.
Sponsored by.
I know.
These are very tough questions, though. Like these are very tough questions because I feel like for me it's just like it comes from the queer communities and they definitely have their own culture, but I feel like a lot of it stems from black culture too, like black
Yeah.
mothers, black fathers, you
Yeah.
know.
And we also got to think about the people that were actually a part of ball culture. It was a lot of Latinx black people.
Yeah.
So it's like now do I
I don't know if you
hold
correct.
all Asian queer people accountable? So
I
like
don't know. Like
yeah.
you said, that's not our job.
Yeah, that's not
Unless y'all are putting me on payroll, and I'll
yeah,
let
that's
y'all
not our
know.
job. That is not what I get paid
Not
for
in my job description.
to
Just
create
know
these lines.
that if you needed a sign, this episode was your sign. Someone is dropping off a package at my door.
Yeah, I'm expecting a package right now. Yeah, no, I agree. So, what does holding people accountable look like for appropriating? I really depend. In my opinion, it really depends on the person and also how they're appropriating, what they're appropriating. Like, why the fact that we have to create guidelines on this is insane. But that I didn't like this episode. This episode actually just made me
Neither did
mad.
I.
Yeah, I didn't like this episode at
Neither did I.
all.
Isn't this the pre? What is it called when it's like not the season finale?
Oh,
The
I don't know.
season something. The pre-season. There's a name for it, but I forgot. There's a season finale, and then there's like the season pre-finale or something like that. But
Well,
this is
this is
our
it.
season pre-finale, y'all.
This is the
Season
season
1 is almost
pre-finale.
over. It's
Season
been
one's
such a
almost
great
over.
ride.
And
So excited, and I can't wait for season 2.
yeah, season 2 will be bigger and better. Season 1, we're almost wrapped. I believe we have 1 or 2 episodes left. And I'm excited because I want that to be the best one yet.
Yes, we're not trying to correct y'all. We tired of this conversation.
Yeah, we're tired of this conversation. We'll probably end the season on something fun, a little lighthearted. But yeah, thanks for rocking with us this episode. Super excited that we can continue to see, well, y'all can see us, we can't see y'all, but super excited that y'all can continue to see us and see us laugh and see us
Absolutely.
vibe out. Y'all already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell thing so you get notification every time we drop a video, which is every other Tuesday, 9 a.m. EST. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye. Be safe, y'all.